Agenda review.
Looks good, sir. Thank you.
I would like to say something about the agenda. I don't know how the other council members feel, but when we get items 12 through 20 for 4 variances at 9:21 last night, I saw it this morning. I haven't had a chance to review it. I think it's a lot. I would like to table it if possible.
I don't have a problem with tabling if that's what you prefer, or they're all the same variance for the same thing. And I think, have we not discussed this one before?
It went to planning and zoning,
yeah.
and staff actually has a presentation that they can provide to give an overview that really covers all 9, and we can group them and have a motion for all of those if you'd like to hear them together.
Whatever council desires. I'm fine going either way. And I don't remember if I heard it on listening to the P&Z, so I know the story behind it, or if they came here and spoke too. So I'm not really sure which one it was, but I can go either way if that's what council, if somebody else on council would like.
So I'd like to find out what the neighbors, the surrounding neighbors, or, how they're feeling. I'd like to do a drive-by, that
Okay.
type of thing. But I just saw it first thing this morning.
Eric, any questions, concerns?
I reviewed it, but I know, no, I'm good either way.
Joe, any questions, concerns?
No.
Okay. Ms. Flynn would like to table it. I'm fine with moving forward on it. I think I know the story on it. It's kind of just happened, and it's the same piece of there was a grading between the two, and they have to adjust their grading, and there was not enough, so it just adjusts the setbacks. So,
It's up to council.
yeah, I was just, were you at the P&Z meeting when it was heard originally?
Yes, but I dug a little deeper into it tonight and, or this morning, and I just wanted more time. I thought it was a lot to be put on this tonight's agenda.
Because this is repetitive of the same, but I'm fine with either one.
I believe the engineer for the project is here if there are questions, but it's absolutely up to council whether or
Yeah,
not to
it's
table
up
it or not.
Yeah, I'm fine. If somebody would like, if you'd like to go back to somebody else, so does anybody else want to table it or not? I can go either way. I'm fine with it.
If that's how she feels and that's the route she wants to go, that's fine with me. I don't, I want to be able to, at the end of the day, make a proper vote and make sure everyone is
I think
on
that,
board with it.
I think the question would come up to be ultimately is, why did it make late on the agenda? It did get advertised. It was advertised, correct? Did it just not make it on the agenda? So was it?
Amended. The agenda was amended.
So, okay. But we had the stuff here, it just didn't.
Right.
So I can go either or. So can we decide, do you want to move forward on it or what? You said you could go either way?
I can go either way. No.
Shall I go either way? You want to move forward or not?
Yeah, I can move forward with it.
Okay. I'm fine with moving forward. We can just move forward.
And that's fine. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pam.
Okay. Any other adjustments? Are you okay with the agenda besides that?
I'm good.
Joe?
I'm good.
Okay, we'll just leave the agenda as it sits, and we'll be fine. Okay. Public comment. If anybody in the audience wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda, please come forth at this time. Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me all right through this?
Yes,
Yes.
perfect.
Okay. Hello, my name is Derek Alexander, and I will be heading back to Tallahassee on February 10th through February 11th, 2026, to represent my community and my peers on Autism Day at the Capitol. This will be my 4th year returning with my volunteer work as a special needs advocate, and my 2nd year being fully funded by a local organization, nonprofit, called Bikes and Barbecue for Autism, in conjunction with PreventEducate.org, sponsored by their CEO and founder, John Sokol. The opportunities I will have, The opportunities I will have will be walking the legislative halls for the House of Representatives and the Senate, to engage with all political parties on both sides of the aisle with real-life experiences. I am a young adult living with an autism diagnosis. My journey with first responders in autism and special needs training started in 2015 when I was 10 years old. For the past 11 years, I have annually been a part of all aspects of training under crisis intervention, workshops, local events, and more. I am honored to represent my peers that are not able to attend the Capitol events this year. My hope is that several ongoing bills that have been presented by various organizations for a variety of different subcommittees will pass through and to become law. There are several initiatives being presented by various leaders. My focus, again, will be extra funding for the annual budgets for all cities in Florida to support their fire departments to institute autism and special needs trainings on local levels. Funding is critical to support the laws that advocacy groups are trying to get implemented. The organization sending me this year supports fire, EMT, and police departments locally in our state and has a national accredited program online. Thank you for supporting my volunteerism. I have lived in Minneola since 2009, since I was 4 years old, and have actively been a part of several events and programs the city of Minneola has hosted over the years, representing several nonprofits and groups with events such as Safe Night Out, Christmas Parade, Veterans Events, and more. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to add, on behalf of the council, I'll speak on their behalf, as you're honored to represent your peers, we are honored for you to represent the city of Minneola in Tallahassee. And somebody needs to get a button that says, "I love Minneola," so when he walks around the Capitol, he can see it. But thank you for everything you do for this city. You're definitely someone that I look up to as I enter my journey with my family.
Thank you, and God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Something for a legislative update, guess that can wait. Well, we don't have Scott here, but actually yours is probably better than Scott's, but
Twist my arm. Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street. I was going to step up and give a small legislative update, but I decided to yield my time to Derek. I think he did a great job.
Yes.
Him being in Tallahassee will do a lot more for those bills than any emails that I write, but I'm still tracking the voter ID. That's coming up. There's a Senate bill and a House bill that's got some problems with it. If you're interested in the numbers, they are HB 991 and 1334. They need a few things that were in Bernie Jack's bill that aren't in this one. Mainly, Secretary of State Byrd is blocking a lot of what we'd like to see done. So that's those big issues. But Tallahassee moves slow. We'll see what happens. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, bring it back to council. Project updates? Do you want to go over them tonight, or we got a pretty big agenda? You just want to, or we want to go?
Yeah, we can move forward. Just the only thing is for Mark, we confirmed those 2 dates, so they are for next week and then 2 weeks after that, correct?
Yes.
Can we get that posted and advertised? Awesome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, manager's consent agenda. Any questions, concerns about anything on there?
Nope, I'm good.
Anybody in the audience? Bring it back to council.
Make a motion to approve?
There's been a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
First and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, lighting plan for educational, please.
Good evening. So we've been working with Duke Energy to try to get lighting on Education Avenue. SECA will be providing the power for the portion that's theirs, but Duke is able to do all the installation for us, the design and the installation of the plans for it. We had asked them to put, based upon your feedback, that we wanted all of the lights from 27 up until Grassy Lake to be on the south side of Education, or west, east, whichever way you want to call it, so that it would be away from Ardmore. And then at the at Grassy Lake, we had asked them to put it on the north side, because that's the sidewalk where all the kids from Ardmore walk towards the schools, high school and elementary school, and also through to the MAC. Duke says there's issues with doing that, and they wanted to reverse things. So I had asked them to send someone. The gentleman that's coming up is Tony. He's the one that's been designing the plans for us for the lighting. So Tony's going to come up and talk to you about what Duke feels like needs to be done, the way it needs to be done there, and why. So thank you.
Yeah, hopefully when he does, we can incorporate this into the enhancements. that
I was
we're
going to
looking
ask that. Yep.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that we don't do these in silos. But, so you're on it?
Mhm.
I'll just chill back and let Eric run the show.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I put together a couple of pictures. I think the big challenge that we're seeing is getting lights on the north side from the elementary school over to Hancock. The biggest problem we've got there is the SECA overhead distribution and transmission lines. Do you have the pictures that?
Do you want the PDF or the PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint.
It's Oz.
God?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so we've gone back and forth. We're about 9 different iterations of this design, trying to get all of Education Avenue going. And the biggest challenge here towards the end, if you can go back one slide to it.
You got a clicker right there on the podium.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Hello, sorry. Hello. Okay, there we go. So lighting from Education Avenue. So if we start over at 27, where are we at here? Oh, backwards. So we can go on the north side all the way down from 27 until we get to the intersection at Grassy Lake. Here we were planning for 4 poles, one in each corner, just so we can make sure we get the crosswalks. This is all lit to IES standards, RP8, to make sure we've got the appropriate level of foot candles, even illumination, dark sky compliant lighting through the whole street here. So you can see some of the numbers here. It's hard to see in the image here, but we're getting up to 0.2 foot candles on the sidewalk opposite the light fixtures, going from the north side to the south side. The reason why we had to pivot to the south side after Grassy Lake is this. With those distribution lines, we can't get within 15 feet of SECO's easement. Now, obviously, we can't go in front to be able to get light on the sidewalk and roadway. And we can't go on the other side onto the school property because our trucks will destroy all of those fields back there. Plus, it's not the proper way to light anyway, because then you get light shining into the residences on the other side of the street. So what we had proposed was lighting from the south side with type 4 distribution fixtures, so the light's forward facing. We also have house side shields behind the fixtures to make sure you're not going to have any light trespass into the residences. Now, the last question that I think that came up from the last meeting was, can we get any more lighting on the sidewalk for the kids? And so what I proposed was, if you really want to light up that sidewalk in addition to the lights on the roadway, we can do simple pedestrian style lighting. This would be a 12-foot mounting height, 30 to 50 watt fixtures, dark sky compliant. So all that light will just be going for the sidewalk. But we can't install the kind of lighting to get lighting onto the roadway as well. But we could add these type of lights all the way to Hancock. There we go. Okay. So with that supplemental lighting, we can get all the way over to Hancock, if that's what you really want to do. But like I said, we're getting 0.2 foot candles on the sidewalk just from lighting on the south side with those Type 4 110 watt fixtures. Questions?
Vice Mayor, any questions?
No, thank you.
Ms. Flynn?
No, thank you.
So, Mark, I think the only thing we have to keep aware of is if we are going to be expanding, and we are, right, the corner of education and Grassy Lake, we have to make sure that this, we're not doing the same work twice, so we have to work in conjunction with those two projects.
Yes, sir. We gave Duke Energy our plans for that roadway so they could, plan the light
Plan ahead around it.
locations accordingly.
Okay.
I guess in your vision of the, I'm asking you because you were working on the educational piece. Children leaving Ardmore to go to Minneola, their walking path will be straight down Grassy Lake, so it'll be across Hancock,
Correct.
Grassy Lake. So there's no need to have, there won't be an additional crosswalk at the entrance of education. There's the entrance to the school up there. There won't be, we're not planning on a crosswalk.
There's going to be a crosswalk between both neighborhoods.
Right, I'm talking about for Minneola Elementary, there's the entrance off education onto Minneola, off of education.
Oh, I see. No, there will not be one because the school is too far out, so no one's
So
walking.
Everybody is gonna come out of Ardmore and go
Correct.
straight. And
Yes.
the ones that wanna come out and start walking out, they just need to walk down to Grassy Lake.
Correct, yes.
Okay, I just wanna make sure for those. Okay. Joe?
Is that the fixture that I'm looking at, is that the same fixture that's on all the poles?
No, the roadway type fixtures will be acuity-style autobahns.
Or that's just for the sidewalk?
This was just a question, just for y'all, I guess. If you really want to add additional lighting, this is a path we can go. We just didn't want to go to another iteration of design to add these lights if this isn't what's needed. Because in my opinion, you don't need the additional lighting, but if there's some reason you wanted to really blast light on those sidewalks, this is an option to do it.
But it's gonna, but this is only between Hancock and Grassy Lake, in front of Grassy Lake Elementary.
Correct.
We have the two. On the other side, the light will be on the same side as the sidewalk, so the sidewalk will be illuminated.
Correct.
But this will require additional paths. So the question is, do you want it on both sides or one side down there? It's a lot of traffic if you look at, and there's that part here, it's like, do we just go ahead and say, put it on there? Because if you go in the morning, there was a lot of walking going to the high school past Grassy Lake, and the high school starts out lighter. So I think the point is, if we're doing it, you might as well just light up the world and make it as safe as possible. The first pass instead of the first time of somebody saying, oh, if we had more lighting, or, it's just,
Go to the wall once.
yeah. I'm fine with doing this on the other side if that's if this
agree.
is the best we have.
Okay.
Lynn?
Absolutely. Light it up.
Joe, you fine with that?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, and just FYI, since this pedestrian level lighting isn't necessarily contributing as necessary light to the right-of-way, we'll have smart controllers on those fixtures. So if you determine that, listen, the residents on the other side got plenty of light from the roadway fixtures, that extra stuff makes my backyard look like a Publix parking lot, you can control those lights, the pedestrian levels, just to lower the brightness down a bit.
Okay. Sounds great. Cool. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
And y'all want LED, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
That's all we do.
Not
Yeah.
sodium vapor?
thank you.
Yeah.
What is the time frame of this? What is the timeline?
Well, the next steps, I'd have to put together the pricing for approval. And once we get buy-in on that, timeline to construction would be approximately 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Yep, and then we'll have to pull power. I think Joyce had mentioned, we have to drop meters for the service feeds. So, we'd be waiting for SECO at one point after the design is done, but we'll,
Now, you are with,
Duke Energy.
okay.
Yeah.
Who does the Trailhead Park? Is that Duke or is that Seco? Forget the
think
park.
part of that is on the line. I think the trailhead park is Seco. I'm not certain, but I think it's Seco.
Okay. 'Cause I was just saying, because they're doing the work, you
But
need
the line
lights.
is right there.
You need the lights on the trail, if you haven't been through the trail, especially since pickleball is gonna be there. So are you?
Yeah, it's part of the discussion we're having next week.
Okay, that's fine. Everyone, thank you very much.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It'll be, and we're actually trying to aim for the skate park as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure.
Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street. Is the purpose of this to light Education Avenue roadway or to provide pedestrian lighting? The reason I'm asking is, the way I understand it, is that from 27 to Grassy Lake, it's going to be on the south side of the street, the light, which means the sidewalk is on the north side of the street and pedestrians would not be
You have
lit.
it reversed.
Flip it.
Okay, I was reading what was up there, so, okay, so,
The map was upside down, but I was with the same way. So basically, it's
Okay.
over, the street light's over the sidewalk
perfect.
from 27, and then on the other side, it's just an incremental to put light on the sidewalk.
Thank you.
Okay.
No more questions, Cheryl, for the day.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay, moving forward to Resolution 2516, Shepherd
Do we
Landing.
have to vote on that?
Do we-
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Do we have to vote on that? Well, he's,
If y'all are good with the plan, there's consensus, we're fine, we'll move forward with that.
he's got to go, he's still got to work before his numbers
Yeah.
come back. and we've
Oh,
got
okay.
to approve from the plan. It was just direct, I think he was
A
looking for
direction.
Correction? No.
Yes. We don't need to vote on the next one either because it's architectural design guidelines, first reading.
That's right. This is ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, amending Chapter 94 of the Land Development Code of the City of Minneola relating to development design standards, amending architectural and site design standards for commercial and public facility buildings and projects with a gross building area of less than 20,000 square feet, and architectural and site design standards and guidelines for commercial and public facility buildings and projects 20,000 square feet and over in size, providing for conditions, providing for inclusion in the Code of Ordinances, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, the rest of the items are quasi-judicial in nature, so I can swear everyone in now.
You just had to read it in. I have a question about this. Just to parallel, is there a reason why we're using 20,000? Is there a way we can just change it to 18 and then it kind of coincides with our 18,000 square foot? Or is that 20,000?
The 20,000 was not changed, that was your code, but if that's something
I'm just
that,
saying that if it's consistent with,
I understand.
Yeah.
That's 18.
just for consistency of,
Yes.
well, you do it for 20, like, let's just make it, if 18,000 is the number, let's just keep it at 18,000.
I agree, but let's get some history on this, because I've had a lot of people ask me about this. Can you explain what this does? Because I think a lot of people think that this is the city's way of allowing for big box stores to come in, which is of course not true. That they believe that this is an easier path for them to come through. Of course, that's not true. So just for the public, can you explain what this is?
Sure,
Yes.
and I don't want to step on Joyce's
Oh, I'm
presentation
sorry,
either,
Joyce.
but
So this,
in a nutshell, really, your city code allows for flat roofs. However, it did not allow for a typical flat roof material to be used.
Correct.
And so this change in the land development code would authorize folks that have a flat roof to use TPO instead of tile or metal, which are the two materials that are authorized per the code. So we're just cleaning this up because you have seen several variances week after week, and they're all very similar because we have many industrial buildings and commercial buildings that are coming in with a flat roof. And of course, the building materials that they would like to use are not authorized in our code.
So-
To clarify, what you said is those buildings coming through are under 18,000 square foot. So this is just that piece.
Well,
That's right.
That was it.
but some of them are industrial buildings that are larger than 18,000 square feet. The 18,000 doesn't apply to industrial zoning.
Correct. Right.
And so that's why it's under both the 20,000,
Sure.
greater than that. We
can
can
go either
change
way.
that to 18, but it's for both sizes, so that anybody that wants to use it can use it under the circumstances. But it's not just putting that roof on. They have to still put the
The prey pit, so
the
that way,
stuff around it to
to hide any
hide
mechanical
it. And
equipment,
in
correct.
fact, we're making it so that it can't be seen. They have to provide a line of sight drawings like Publix did to show that it's not going to be seen from anywhere, not just, from the parking lot. So that was one of the things that is in this ordinance. There's
Lois,
also,
let
sorry.
the attorney swear everybody in.
yeah, thank you.
If anyone's going to speak on any of the remaining items on the agenda tonight, can I have you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much.
So the other part of this is, I also added a section in on signage, that any signage that faces residential in the rear, or, well, on any side, when it faces the residential, they can't light the signage. That way we won't have the issue that we had before where the signage from the commercial is shining down into the residents' houses.
Feel like
So
I'm Papa
that's to
John's all
prevent
of a
that.
sudden.
Now, we had, P&Z made some recommended approval, but with some conditions. I'll address the conditions on the signage. First of all, they wanted it to be also that there's no lighting on commercial buildings shining into the residential areas. So not just signage, but any security lighting, it can't shine into the residential area. It has to be, I guess it would have to be dark sky lighting if it's for security, and it would not be able to reflect down into the residential area. So that was that. So we tried to take care of kind of shooting two birds with one stone there. The other recommendation was that they recommend the delay of the timing of approval of this ordinance, so to be based upon the approval or not approval of Walmart, because they felt this would be a hurdle that Walmart would not have to go through if we passed this ordinance before that. We did try to explain that this really was benefiting small businesses that can't afford the really expensive roofs, that this is actually, if you look at the people that are wanting to do this, it's not big businesses, a lot of them. It's either the industrial or it's a small business like Grassy Lake Medical that want to use this, that they can't really afford the expensive roofing, because there is a big difference in price. But that was one of their suggestions. They also want to make sure that we clarify when and who reviews that site of plan. It would be done in the DRC before it ever came to council, and the engineer would be the one to look at it, but they want to make sure that's specified in there. They also want to specify the way the shielding is supposed to be around the roof to hide the looks, and I think that was basically, and the materials for the shielding, but that's basically what it was, that there were recommendations for.
Yeah, and the reason why it's set at 20,000 is because our architectural standards use that number.
And that's fine. I just asked a question. I could go either way. I don't think it's a showstopper. I think it achieves.
A question for the city attorney, and I alluded to this earlier, but just to get it on the record from a legal standpoint. This does not make or allow variances to go any easier for anybody who wants to go over 18,000 square feet, correct?
That's correct. They would still have to go through the same process in order to, for a commercial building to get over 18,000 square feet.
Okay.
But if you want us to change that 20 to 18, we can change that 20 to 18.
It's not,
and
it
the
doesn't
code-
make sense. I defer to the attorney. I defer to Mark. Mark has a good point. If it has to do with the other standards, if it kind of parallels that, then 20 is fine. I was just trying to get continuity. I didn't know. It's like the road width of being 24 and it's just, I'm fine with it the way it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And again, this was not to benefit any particular applicant whatsoever. We have, the question was asked at the P&Z meeting, why now? Well, we're starting to see commercial and industrial growth. We haven't seen that in the past. This hasn't really come up until fairly recently.
Yeah, I just think, Mark, it's a coincidence. That's all it is.
I think the why now is because, like Joe mentioned it too, is we just had the medical come in front of us a month ago. So it's, the why now is you could see why. It's because we talked about, if you listened to the minutes of that meeting or read the minutes or paid attention, you would have heard council say, hey, can you go back and fix this? So the why is because council asked us a month ago, 2 months ago, to take care of this as housekeeping.
Correct.
And it really hasn't, you know, because we hadn't had the growth, it really hadn't come up a lot. So, and again, in my opinion, we've had multiple variance requests for this. We've granted those. You know, if it's any concerning, you know, with the public, I understand their apprehension and, you know, trying to, you know, I understand why they would associate that, but that's not the case. But if that was the case, I think the council would be hard pressed turning their variance down when we've awarded so many other ones. So I don't know that, you know, we've allowed it. When you start seeing these things come up, it's time to change the code and make it kind of monitor the practice out there, so.
So what do we need on this first reading, and we move forward?
Yes, you can move forward.
Guess we'll see this in 2 weeks.
You want to do public comment?
Yeah, anybody in the audience want to speak on this?
Good evening. My name is Sylvia Crowley. I live at 1732 Hamlin Ridge Road. And yes, when it comes to this, to the change in this ordinance, I understand that the big box stores would still have to get a variance to build anything over 18,000 square feet.
Correct.
I understand that. My understanding from attending the planning and zoning meeting yesterday was that this ordinance is really meant to ease, I would say, the burden on small buildings to not have to get a variance. So if that is the intent of this variance, and it is also my understanding that the 4 variances that were issued recently, that were allowed recently, were for smaller buildings, buildings under 20,000 square feet. So why don't we make this variance do what it's meant to do, which is to help small businesses, and take out the verbiage of you're going to allow this for any building 20,000 square feet and over, because it really doesn't apply. The variances that have been applied for are for buildings that are 20,000 square feet and under. As I understand that maybe it's just a coincidence. I want to believe that it's just a coincidence that this change in this ordinance that has been long-standing, I mean, this requirement for TPO or denial of TPO has been in the books for years and years and years. It just seems like an incredible coincidence that right now, when big box stores are trying to move into our community, we are removing one of the hurdles that they would have to go through to get approval from the city to build. And that is, big box stores cannot build without having a TPO building, a TPO roofing system at this point. And TPO is not something that is just brand new. It's been around since the 1990s. So I can tell you from all my neighbors, the citizens that do not want these box stores, the optics of the timing of this ordinance are just horrific. So we're asking either please change the ordinance to apply to buildings 20,000 square feet or less, or at least postpone the passing of this ordinance until the issue of the big box stores is dealt with.
Okay, with that said, and I hear what you're saying, so I'm going to defer to, do we have any other variances excluding a potential big box store or whatever that this affects that's in the pipeline now? Is there anything else coming through?
So we approved a large grocery store over 20,000 square feet up by Sullivan Road and 27.
Okay, so that's going to be it.
Camp Lake industrial buildings are going to be going in.
Okay, so they weren't part of they didn't put that in their agreement that they were covered on that day, but have to come back for this?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I can go either way. I mean, if you want to postpone it until the fall, then postpone it till the fall. And just have those people say they have to come forward. I mean, if we do it or not, the world is not going to change. I mean, these people came in, and those tenants came into the city while this ordinance is in place, so they knew the rules. It's not like we changed it. We're just trying to alleviate staff time of having to go through this exercise. But if the optics are bad and you want to wait till November, then just say postpone this till, I still think we should do first reading. I'm fine with that.
That's fine.
But just have it come back for second reading.
November.
Defer to the attorney of what do you put as the part of that.
Agreed.
We could certainly have the second reading on the 17th, and if you all decide that you wish to postpone it to a later date, then that you can do that at that
Do
time.
we have to have,
No.
I just assumed it just go till November.
Well, can we have with an effective date starting on November 1st, December 1st?
You can do that. Mhm.
Can I play devil's advocate on that?
Yeah.
If something happens and everything gets postponed, and I'm just gonna put it out there, if you say November, then council's gonna change, and you don't know what's gonna happen, you don't know how a big box store could play the game. Could they have the choice of when they could put it through? So they're like, well, I'll wait. So I just think we just kind of, I agree with you, November. Or you can't say November, and in November, push it forward if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, we could do that.
You're
Yeah.
going to be here then, but I'm just saying, worst case scenario, you want to do November, and then in November, we could push it forward if we wanted to. Okay,
Agreed.
agree.
And do we need to make that on the second reading? Or is
Yes.
that something that could be done now?
There's no vote for today, so we'll bring it back.
Yes, no, that I understand.
But do we have to
Okay.
bring it back for a second
But does it
reading?
have to be brought back for a
I
second
would prefer not
reading?
to see it in the 17th and even put the optics that it's even there, just
Right.
We
let
can-
it go away and say, bring it back in November.
We can pull it.
Pull it to November? And what do you need to do?
And we
that?
don't need a second reading?
We need a second reading in November.
No, I'm saying we
Yeah.
don't need a second reading in 2 weeks.
Right.
Right.
Can we
That would be my recommendation.
just tell you to bring it back in November for second reading?
Yes, we'll have it postponed, and we'll bring it back in November if
We
that's
need to make a
the,
motion to postpone the second reading until November. I would prefer to do that just to have it on the record.
you can certainly do that, but because it's been advertised the way that
Right.
it
Advertise for a
has,
second reading?
we will have to still put it on the agenda, but we'll have it postponed to November.
Okay.
Postpone it to the
I
next
think we
agenda-
should do
the
that
next
then, if
meeting.
Okay,
it's,
that's fine.
just to keep it. But I hear you. I understand what you're saying, Pat, so
Yeah. Just,
totally understood.
Can you explain why November?
That was just an arbitrary date that I picked. There's really no.
is there another month you'd prefer better?
And when he mentioned put, you know, put it through, he meant put the applicant starts the process, they request when they want the hearing. So we don't know when the applicant will request P and Z and council hearing.
Okay,
We're
so-
assuming it'll be by then. but
So
we don't know.
let's go back to the part here, the people and things. Has any of the big box stores put in their application? They've just talked it. We have not received a formal.
I don't think we've asked, I don't think we've been asked to have that P and Z hearing yet by the.
So have they haven't put in a formal application?
They have gone through design reviews and things, but they haven't requested a hearing yet, I don't think.
Okay, so can you put in, is there any way to put in well, you want to do before, that's fine, let's just keep it where it is. I was trying to like get the other two in and saying if you make it, that's fine, let's just keep it where it is. I'm overthinking, I apologize.
You can always ask us to bring it back earlier than November if that's what you choose.
But again, you know, if the applicant that, you know, those are concerned about, I think we'd be very challenged to tell them no when we've told others yes. I don't,
That's fine.
it's kind of a, yeah,
Thank you.
if that was an issue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Anyone else want to speak on this? Okay, item number 8, 9, and 10 together, please, and 11.
So I'll read the ordinance for item 9, which will also go, oh, excuse me.
Just
I'm
item
going
8 first,
Too
if we
fast, sorry.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a development agreement for Grassy Lake Medical Office that was wedged in between the Shepherd's
Did I miss
Landing
one?
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
that's why I read 4, sorry. There it
Yes.
is.
So it's item 8
Okay.
first, yes. Thank you.
Thank you for catching that.
Of course. For the record, Eric Rosh with Inspire Placemaking here in my capacity as a contract planner to the city. This is item number 8, which is the Grassy Lake Medical Office Development Agreement Amendment. I'll run through the location, the request, and then just a quick summary. This is first reading, so no actions required. So this project's on the southwest corner of Citrus Grove Road and Grassy Lake Road. It's about 4.6 acres in size. It's got an existing PUD. It may look familiar. It was in front of you on January 6th for a site plan approval for about 32,000 square feet of medical office and office uses. It's 5 single-story buildings as shown. And this is the project that really sparked a lot of the discussion that we just had on the last item. So there was a request for a flat roof here. This was, I think, the 4th that we had seen recently, including the Oak Valley commercial. We had one for the Camp Lake industrial. So council directed us to take a look at those flat roof requirements and potentially bring back an ordinance to allow for the TPO. So that's what we were attempting to do on the last item. The applicant in the interim committed to doing a development agreement amendment. They felt like that would be a faster way to get back and kind of propose that flat roof TPO solution. So there's 2 changes in the agreement as discussed at the last meeting. One would permit TPO roofing instead of the tile or metal, and the other was there was some discussion at the hearing, you may recall, on the lighting for the wall signage adjacent to the south of the site. There's some single family, so they added a restriction to limit that lighting, which prohibits it from being lit, the signage, from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Those are the only changes to the agreement that's in front of you. So with that, this is first reading. The applicant is here, and staff's available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
First reading. Anybody in the audience have any questions, concerns? I'm good. Vice Mayor?
No, thank you.
No, I'm good.
Joe? Yes. Okay. Mr. Saunders has questions.
I'm Kyle Albacord, 853 State Board 436 in Castleberry. This is kind of awkward. I didn't mean to launch the whole thing here, but hopefully this will help resolve it.
It's all good.
It was not Walmart, it was me, guys. But yeah, here to answer any questions. I know it's the first reading, but if you have.
We were good. You had questions.
I don't have any questions.
Oh, I thought you said yes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Oh,
I'm fine with it.
okay. Sorry for the tease. So we'll just move forward. So we'll see this in 2 weeks?
Yes, on the 17th, the developers agreement will be brought back.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Now, item 9, ordinance 2025-14. This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, amending the boundaries of the City of Minneola in accordance with the procedures set forth in Section 171.044 Florida statutes to include within the city limits approximately 194 acres of property generally located north and south of Sullivan Road and east and west of Scrub J Lane in Lake County, Florida, rezoning the annex property from Lake County planned urban development to City of Minneola planned unit development, rezoning property currently in the City of Minneola from Business District or B1 and planned unit development to planned unit development, providing for conditions and contingencies, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And if you'd like, I can also read in the other
If you don't mind.
ordinance so we can hear this together. That would be item 11, ordinance 2025-14, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, providing for a comprehensive plan amendment, amending the land use designation from rural on the Lake County Comprehensive Plan and commercial and Harb-Mineola Ridge mixed-use residential development on the City of Mineola's future land use map. 2, mixed-use development on the future land use map of the City of Mineola's comprehensive plan for approximately 259 acres of property generally located north and south of Sullivan Road and east and west of Scrub J Lane, amending the future land use element for the City of Minneola to add a new future land use category of Shepherd's Landing mixed-use residential development, providing for conditions and contingencies, directing the city clerk to transmit the amendment to the appropriate governmental agencies pursuant to Chapter 163 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you again. For the record, Eric Roche with Inspire. The next 3 cases are related, and they were all continued from previous meetings, so I'll try to step through this a little quicker than normal since you've seen it 2 or 3 times already. Run through the location of the project, the future land use and current zoning as it sits today. I'll outline the requests under 9, 10, and 11 on your agenda, talk about the deviations from the code, and then I'll run through the development agreement revisions since the last meeting. If you recall, this was continued. We did receive a late arriving DA change at that meeting, and staff has since had time to sit down with the applicant and work through any of those issues. And then I'll wrap up just with the P&Z recommendations. This was recommended by P&Z.
Do the P&Z recommendations include the modifications that's been made since the last meeting, or is this off the original?
They did not. So those occurred prior to the continuance at the last meeting.
Okay. You're probably gonna have to differentiate, or Ms. Flynn, you can differentiate what your P&Z said compared to what the agreement is.
Of course.
I just need to understand if they made a thing, but it's already been addressed, then.
I can do that.
I just would like to know what the outstanding P&Z things that was not addressed in the adjustments.
Glad to do that when we get there. Yep. So this one's south of the Turnpike and north of Citrus Grove Road, and it's bisected by Sullivan and Scrub J, and it's about 261 acres in size. The future land use of the property on the west side is all Lake County rural, and then as you move to the east, there's a portion that's city general commercial, and there's a small remnant piece that used to be included within Minneola Ridge that's on the north, that's MUD. Current zoning, as mentioned, there's a PUD within the county on the west side, and then there's city B1, you can see in red on the east. The request here is for the annexation, rezoning, development agreement, and comp plan amendment to achieve an updated development program, which I'll step through in a moment. You can see this is the concept plan that was presented by the applicant. You've got an open space area on the north adjacent to the Turnpike. You've got a proposed 10-acre public facility site to be dedicated to the county, shown here in blue. You've got some single-family residential areas shown in yellow, and then the red would be general commercial, and the orange would be a townhome area. The development program as proposed is 652 single-family units, 443 attached single-family units, so there's going to be townhomes, just over 47,000 square feet of commercial. I mentioned the 10-acre public utility tract, and then just over 25 acres of green space. These are the 4 parcels that are proposed to be annexed into the city, outlined in red. It's about 194 acres. The development program I already covered under the rezoning. They would be decreasing the amount of potential commercial that could be built on site as the city's current floor area ratio allows for a significant amount of commercial. Today they could do about 2.8 million square feet on that eastern side if they could park it and fit the stormwater ponds. But proposed gross density of 4.2 dwelling units per acre with the ability to cluster up to 10 dwelling units per acre for the townhomes. They're proposing a 40-foot minimum single-family lot width and a 20-foot townhome lot width. The development agreement, which we'll cover in a second, cover those changes. This is what really ties everything together with the development standards and the requirements of the applicant as they move forward in the process into permitting. And this is the comprehensive plan amendment, which is item 11. This is where the development program is memorialized into the comp plan. So if they want to do anything outside of that development program, they would have to come back for another comprehensive plan amendment. And they would have to request another comprehensive plan amendment, come back through this process all over again. So that development program has been memorialized directly in the policy. These are just a quick summary of the deviations from code. They have changed the open space definition. We discussed this at the last meeting. They've revised development standards for residential and commercial uses. For example, they've got the 40-foot single-family lot widths, and they've got front-loaded townhomes and things to that effect within the agreement. They've got a list of by right special exceptions, so those would be permitted without having to come back through the special exception process. They've eliminated parking for neighborhood parks, although they have restored it for those larger community amenity centers that have pools and cabanas and those types of uses. And they're requesting to exceed the city's grading requirements. And this is just the grading exhibit that was shown at the last meeting with the proposed walls up to 10 and 18 feet. 10 feet would be in red, the 18-foot walls potentially be in green. In the areas that would exceed the 20-foot grading max would be in blue. So, as mentioned, there was a development agreement that was presented at the last meeting. I believe the applicant walked through some of the changes in that agreement. I'll just speak to some of them. So they clarified that the project may be phased, and all phases will have to stand alone in terms of concurrency. So services will have to be in place to accommodate each individual phase. They added language to allow the city to maintain any of the improvements if the HOA or CDD fails, and then they would be able to recover costs. We don't anticipate that happening, but the city has the power to do it. Clarify that on-street parking is only going to be on one side of the street. They added language for interconnectivity with Founders Ridge. That was a issue that we had raised, that Founders Ridge was showing more connections than they were. We don't know who's going to go first, but there's some language in there that addresses it. They added a requirement for street lighting on Scrub J, has to be operational prior to the first residential certificate of occupancy. They added some disclosure language to purchasers regarding the wastewater treatment plant. We did receive some comments from Lake County on the day of our last meeting, and the applicant has added some language to require an agreement between the governing jurisdiction that is going to own and maintain the rights of way for Scrub J and Sullivan, and require those improvements prior to any COs for the project. I'll just note that it was initially proposed as a tri-party agreement with the city also being party. The version that's in your packet is just between whoever the governing jurisdiction is and the applicant. So if that's Lake County, there would be the ability to satisfy Lake County's requirement. The city is allowed to provide input, but they wouldn't be a party to the agreement as proposed. There's added language regarding an enhanced perimeter buffer on the southwest portion of the property. There was a clarification that impact fee credits for the 10-acre public facility will be based on the land's value before the entitlements are granted, so based on the existing rural classification. I know that was a big discussion point at our last meeting. And they clarified the 10-acre public facility site will be used for wastewater facilities. So these are the P&Z recommendations, and Mayor, you're correct. These were prior to the latest round of negotiations that occurred in January. So on the annexation and PUD, P&Z recommended that the applicant dedicate 25% of their property to the city as conservation. The applicants declined to move forward with that suggestion. Item number 10 on the development agreement, they asked to address any staff comments and then take into consideration Lake County's comments on a staff report for the annexation. And I think some of those requirements for Scrub J and Sullivan Road, I'll let the applicant speak to how they've addressed those within their development agreement. But that was something that came up at the P&Z meeting. It wasn't necessarily comments that came from city staff. These were comments that came from county staff on a separate application. And then on the comp plan amendments, they asked for a land survey prior to commencement. The applicant has done a survey of the property. Ensure a comprehensive stormwater plan is in place. That is something that will have to be done downstream. They're going to have to go through the Water Management District permitting process and permit through the city's public works and engineering departments, address the staff recommendations, and then update the traffic study. Those are all the requirements from P&Z. So with that, I stand here for questions, and we have the applicant team who can walk through their thought process on the amendments, and I know Ms. Koch has been involved in drafting those as well, who's also available for questions. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to open up for public, but before we do that, any questions from, you good? Good?
Nope,
Good.
good.
You have any questions right now, Joe, or do you want to wait?
Oh, I do. Sorry, I do have one question. So,
We'll come back to you if you want. You can be either before or after public comment, whatever you would like.
oh, it's just to clarify. I know we spoke about the parks, removing the parking, but I thought we decided that we're going to keep those in place for the smaller ones. I think the cutouts is what we agreed to keep in.
If the applicant can come forth and address Councilman Hernandez's concerns.
Yes, sir. Matt Young, Richland Communities, 555 Wonderly Place. And I think your recollection is correct. After we talked through it last time, much like Minneola Ridge, we agreed to basically have those on the smaller pocket parks so long as they were outside of the travel lanes.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Anything, Jeff, for right now? We can come back to you. We can go either way.
I didn't quite understand the Sullivan Road approach that's going to be between you and the county, and the city gets to make comments that are non-binding? Is that what I'm hearing?
So as it relates to the roadway improvements, all we're suggesting is in a traditional format, whoever is the owner and maintenance entity of that roadway,
That would be Lake County.
that's who we're gonna make
Sullivan
our
Road is a
agreement
Lake
with.
County road.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But that's the same thing you did with Hancock, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
I didn't have questions, but now I do. Can you go back to the retaining wall piece? And I don't know if this is the place to put it in or whatever. When you look at the retaining walls, there's a lot, and I get it. Is there any way to put, and I have a preference, but you could go, is continuity, because I know if you go above the 6 foot, if you go above 2 foot, you got to have some type of railing or something. So all of these retaining walls are going to have some type of railing.
Yes.
Is there a way to come up with continuity of either like make sure it's vinyl fence or it's consistent, or a railing between them as being a wrought iron, black wrought iron, or what is, I don't know what the options are, but you know, if you have some of these with a 10 foot, if you take a 10 foot one that you're proposing, and then you throw another 6 foot fence on top of it, that looks really, really, it gives the optics that it's
Even
taller.
larger.
If you went with a railing, then you kind of leaves it at 10 foot. So I'm suggesting some type of railing, but not limiting the person who chooses to move into the home. If they want to put a vinyl fence up, then that could be their choice. I'm not saying limit that you can't do it, but something to that effect.
Understood. Yeah, and we're happy to do that. I think Florida code requires a 48-inch standard height aluminum railing.
Right.
And we traditionally do black aluminum railing throughout all our communities, so it is consistent. Again, we're trying to create that cohesive kind of visual, to your point. So we're happy to specify that if need be.
Yeah, because none of the retaining walls back up to Sullivan and or to Scrub Day, so you don't have that piece there. So the railing would be just the continuity of having it look. It's just when you look at the really big tall ones, I'm just concerned that it's just going to make it look really, really.
I understand.
So, okay. At this time, we'll open up to council, to staff for you to remain. You can hang around so you can rebuttal or talk about anything, so.
Public comment.
Public comment, after public comment. Anyone want to come forth and speak on this, please come forth.
Hey, Matt, with, in regards to the black aluminum railing, are y'all planning to put in, like what we required in Ardmore, the black fluted posts with the black backs on the signage to make it really a nice subdivision, dress it up?
I think, are you talking about signs throughout the neighborhood, just to make
Like what we
sure?
required in Ardmore, yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm confused. Are we
I think
talking signage?
he's wanting, I think basically if you're
Signpost.
doing, to keep continuity, if you're doing nice black railing, in Ardmore, they put street signs on nice, at least black posts that look,
Oh, yes, we're happy to do that.
okay.
Yep.
Just for the piece, and if there's any street lights or, everything's kind of
Cohesive.
cohesive, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
Just dresses it up a little bit.
Understood.
yes, sir. Your name and address, please.
Yeah, Joe Eddy, 18,030 Flamingo Lane. I live right off Sullivan Road. I'm one of the older residents there that's been there for 24 years. And I've seen more than one proposal come forth before you guys to expand and annex land and put developments in. And the 4.5 homes per acre and 10 townhomes per acre is quite a drastic change from 1 home per 5 acres. When we've discussed this before, we did talk about how it should be kind of gradual, gradual when it comes from urban to mixed use to rural. And what they're discussing is putting their property lines right on our property lines, which are 1 home per 5 acres. The piece of property in general that's in question on the corner of Sullivan and Scrubjay was once owned by the county, by the, where they were going to build a school, where the school board had bought that property. At the time, the county engineers themselves came in, looked at the property, said there's a bad depression in it. They didn't find it to be a place where they would want to build a school. And of course, a lot of that was because of the roads, and the roads haven't changed one bit since then. We also have, I don't know if there's a traffic study that has been turned into you as far as what's going to happen here for 1,000 units, but I've got to guess that it's got to be at least a couple thousand cars a day. And who's paying for all those roads? And we also still have an S-curve down there on Citrus Grove where most of those cars are going to be coming through. And is that going to be addressed? Because we've tried to address that before. I know that you looked at one project that was going to be mixed residential and commercial, and you told that developer that they needed to do that road if they were going to proceed. So what I see so far is that, again, we're of course not in favor of you annexing this land and changing the land use to it, to put that many homes there. But I think that we have a problem with roads still, and we're going to have a problem with roads. And that needs to be addressed, and the taxpayers in the city of Minneola should not be paying for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to clarify the S-curve. Mark, can you tell us the status of the Citrus Grove Road, please?
Citrus Grove Road, the city, although that is a county roadway, the city partnered with the county and tried to assist in funding. It has been designed. The state's accepted the design. They plan to start construction within the next few months, and the whole project should be done in about the next 24 months.
Okay. So that would be the S-curve.
Yes,
We have a pre-construction meeting, I think, tomorrow.
Okay, understood, and that definitely needs to be addressed, obviously. But again, you know, we're not in favor of all of this growth, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak?
Good evening, Mayor,
evening.
Council. My name is Denise Frankie. I live at 12506 Sullivan Road. I'm a resident there for almost 10 years. I'm not opposed to growth in general, and I understand this property may develop at some point. I agree with Mr. Eddy, though, as far as how many houses per acre. But my concern tonight is the process and the protection. Based on the city's own growth agenda packet, several required items are still pending, including the traffic mitigation details, stormwater design, flood studies, state and federal environmental permits. I respectfully ask the council to postpone approval until those studies are completed and publicly reviewed. I think a short delay protects the city legally and ensures growth happens responsibly. Again, not asking to stop the growth, but we're asking for the city to slow it down until the impacts are proven and mitigated. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know she discussed some outstanding pieces, but there's a process where those will have to be addressed before they can actually go. There's like a process, so this is the first step, and
That's right.
So-
Before development, all of those studies will have to be
completed.
completed,
So it
and
could
that was
be-
part of the
Just because it's
concurrency.
approved doesn't mean that they can build. They still have to go through those before they,
That's correct.
okay. Just want to make sure. Anyone else in the audience want to speak on this? Okay. I'll bring it back to council for discussion.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay, with that said, I wanted to go back to the part of the rails and all that. That's kind of, does that have to be put into this, or is that just kind of?
I would make it part of your motion, the black aluminum railing and the decorative signposts, similar to what Ardmore has.
What did you call it? It just has to all complement or be,
Cohesive.
that's a good word, be cohesive. Okay. And with that said, would somebody like to make a motion to approve this? So we can,
So we'll need the 3 separate motions for
okay, that's
this.
fine. So we'll start with,
Start with 9.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-14, Shepherd's Landing annexation and rezoning.
got a motion. Can I get a second? Knowing that if you make a second, that doesn't mean you're in supportive of this. It just gets it to a vote. So I have a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and second. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with the vice mayor.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Modifications, or the resolution for 2025-16 Shepherd Landing Developer Agreement.
This is the one I would add the conditions about the posts.
If I get a motion to add the condition, or the,
Yeah, I got it. I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-16, Shepherd's Landing Developer Agreement contingent on the 2 items that we spoke about, the lighting poles and
any
Railings.
signage.
any signage as well.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2, right?
The railings, I would just mention the railings. Just
Oh,
as
that's right. It's
separate.
the railings on the fence and the signage on the decorative poles.
Yes.
And if there's any, you want streetlights to be the same also?
Yeah, I think that's already in play.
Is that, there,
Just for the applicant, the streetlights are all going to be cohesive with within the whole project, correct?
okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Got a motion. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving forward to the comp plan, 2514, item number 11.
So moved.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2526 through item 12 through item 9 through item 20.
Yes.
All right, again, for the record, my name's Eric Rosh with Inspire here as contract planner to the city. These are items 12 through 20 on your agenda, which are a series of variances for the Del Webb community. I'll speak about the location, I'll walk through the request, I'll outline the variance criteria, I'll outline the P&Z recommendation, then I'll wrap up with a summary. As mentioned, this is within the Del Webb community, north of 561A and west of Hancock Road. There are 9 total lots affected. They were each submitted as a separate variance request, which is why you have 9 separate agenda items. 5 of those lots are off Twilight Vista Court. Those are still owned by Pulte, the developer of Del Webb. That's their model area that's generally located in the square in red. And there's 4 lots off of Top Hill Court. Those have been sold to residents, and their general location is in blue.
So there's structures on all of these properties.
That is correct. These walls are built.
Okay.
They've requested 9 variances from the code and the PUD agreement, which requires setbacks of 5 feet on the side, 20 in the front, and 20 in the rear. They're all outlined here. They all need the side setbacks, and I'll show you the walls in just a moment. And a few of them need the rear and front setbacks because they encroach into the front. These are the walls that we're talking about. These are just 4 of the examples. You can see these aren't 6-foot walls. These are a maximum of 30 inches in height, some maybe even smaller. The reason these were constructed is these lots were originally supposed to have stem wall construction and ultimately were not constructed with the stem walls. So to alleviate drainage concerns and allow for proper grading, the applicant permitted these individual walls on these lots. The required variances for the walls were identified after the fact. So lot 23, 22, and 19 through 21 are shown here. These are the Twilight Vista Court lots. You can see the extent of the walls in red. You can see some of them extend almost to the rear property line, while others are only requiring the side setback and not the rear setback. The wall section here is on your left as well. You can see it's a maximum 30-inch wall as proposed. And then here are the lots on Top Hill Court. The side setbacks are required for 127, 128, and 129 on the screen, and then 148 requires the front and the rear as well. These are the variance criteria directly in the code. We reviewed these to evaluate the consistency with the code requirements. And I'll just walk through them one by one. They can't result in a reduction in property values. We analyzed this and found that the additional drainage capacity provided by these would actually be a benefit to the adjacent property owners. The solution made a lot of sense from a drainage perspective, so we found no issue with that criteria. Number 2, it should be in benefit to the public interest, and again, these are necessary to provide sufficient drainage capacity within the community, which is consistent with the public interest. Number 3, it would result in an unnecessary hardship if denied. We felt that it would have unnecessary hardship because you would have insufficient drainage capacity and the ability to increase runoff to neighboring lots. And I'll show you just a couple sections that were provided by the applicant after P&Z that demonstrates that in just a moment. Number 4, I can't be contrary to the spirit of the Land Development Code. The spirit of the Land Development Code is pretty general. Protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens of the city and enhance appearance, function, and livability in the city. We felt this was consistent with that. Number 5, they are not able to claim a financial disadvantage or inconvenience, as the evidence of the hardship alone has to be other factors. The applicant hasn't specifically cited the financial disadvantage or hardship with these requests. They're really just trying to rectify the field error on the stem wall construction and ensure that proper drainage is provided. And then number 6 is regarding physical hardships, and they haven't claimed a physical hardship in this instance. P&Z debated this at length on January 5th, and there was a number of different recommendations that were made, tried to kind of, speak to the fact that these were permitted and existing. They really wanted to make sure this wasn't precedent setting, and they have submitted 9 specific applications. So every variance application, as you know, is reviewed for consistency with those variance criteria. We never cite another variance was granted as justification for one variance. They want them to be only applicable to the identified lots, which the 9 applications are specific to those lots. If any other lots within the community need any relief, they would have to come through a process similar to this one. Maintenance responsibilities shall be recorded. The applicant's on record saying that the HOA is responsible for maintaining these walls. They asked the applicant to consider vegetative swales in lieu of the bar channels on 3 of them. And I'll show an image in a minute that just addresses that. Confirmation that future phases won't rely on this design. I will note that staff and the applicant met to develop a process to ensure this doesn't happen moving forward. The applicant can speak a little to that. They wanted shallow planted drainage swales with native grasses to slow runoff. The applicant has responded that solution has the potential to cause some drainage concerns within the community, so they weren't able to accommodate that. They can speak to that, as well as the deep root vegetation. They want drainage performance verification. The engineer of record is going to be responsible for the drainage within the community. Then they asked to consider terracing to break up into smaller walls and add gravel on one of them. And then any staff recommendations. So the applicant took all of that feedback from the P&Z meeting and looked at what they can do within the community. And they provided additional information on the 27th of January. So on the left is the solution that was proposed and approved. That's what's in front of you tonight. That's what was permitted in the field. It maintains a 4-to-1 slope, and the flow line is in the middle of the 2 lots. You can see that you're not directing all of the drainage onto one of the lots. So it all slopes down to the center between the 2. If you were to eliminate the wall and just go with vegetation, you can see the middle example, that flow line would get moved onto the neighboring lot to maintain the required slope under the code. So you would be pushing all that water on the neighbor, which was not an adequate solution for the applicant or staff. And then finally, a terraced wall solution, you can see how that would work potentially on the right. And under that example, you would still need the variances because you would just have 2 smaller walls, which would also be within the setback to maintain that slope. So this was their thought process behind proposing the single wall that you see on your request on the left as presented. So staff's recommendation is to make a finding of consistency and recommend approval of the 9 variance requests. I'm here for any questions. We have the whole applicant team with their engineer here as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Some of these homes, I understand, have been sold, and they are being lived in.
Very aware of that. Some of these have not been sold.
Some of these have not been sold.
So the first question to you, Mark, why wasn't the COs were issued on all of these, so why wasn't it caught during the CO process?
I had a question on how this occurred as well. I don't have a definitive
I would like to know
answer.
when the retaining wall was put in, because my wife and I very specifically were looking at the models before anything was built and commented on the drainage, the water between 2 of the models, because it was all seeping in, running out. So this is quasi-judicial, so they are under oath on this one? Okay, can I have the applicant come forth? Because we're going to ask some questions like, I need to know, first off, if you knew stem walls were supposed to be built, why weren't they built?
Good evening. This is Aaron Struckmeyer, Pulte Homes. Appreciate your time this evening. I appreciate all of staff's work on this and the very thorough presentation that Eric provided on their behalf. Yes, totally agree. Stem walls were identified on the engineering plans, and I have our engineer here as well to speak to some of the specific design constraints. We sent that over to our construction team and coordinated prior to the units being constructed. Something happened with the communication where it didn't make it into the field, didn't make it onto the permitting set. The homes were built and constructed, and then after the fact, it was realized that we couldn't make the grading work without a retaining wall. So retaining walls were applied for, permitted, constructed, and COs were granted on the homes. At that point then.
So when, I want to roll back, let's talk the models.
Yeah.
When were the retaining walls, were the retaining walls put in while construction was being built, or were they put in post-construction after you open the, after you open the model centers?
I don't know if we had full.
I'm not going to vote on anything.
Okay.
So I think for me,
Yeah.
I would like to table this until you get people here that answer questions like, A, when was retaining walls put in? Did you pull a permit on them? Because they were not done. I feel very comfortable saying they were not done on the model center. Somebody just came in and y'all made some adjustments. I look at these two different pieces. One, homes were sold, and we can't really affect those people, but Pulte still owns those 4 homes. I have no problem with having you tear down those homes and build them with stem walls and build them right, and holding the developers accountable. You can't come in and do this. Unfortunately, you got me as the person, and I'm up on this council because the same thing happened in my neighborhood, but mine was caught during CO, and they threatened to tear my house down. The only reason they didn't tear my house down is because I own possession of it. Pulte still owns those 4. You need to build it the right way you're supposed to with stem walls.
Understood.
The other 4 people, I'm fine with. I feel unfortunately, but I need to know, I want to see when the stem walls were put in. Was it pre and post? And I would like the contractor who built them to come in, and y'all need to explain to me how you missed this. I'd also like to know how the city missed it on the final plan. But somebody needs to tell me, because those stem walls were not up when you opened that. There was some serious flooding going on during the piece. So who made the decision, and this is my question, is who made the decision to put the stem walls in to fix it? And you're saying that you pulled permits for these stem walls?
For the retaining walls?
For the what?
For the retaining walls?
Yes, for the retaining
Yes,
walls.
that is my understanding from my permitting team.
Did permits get pulled? If permits were pulled, then why are we having this discussion? Because if permits were being pulled for the retaining wall, then we would have caught this when the permits were being pulled. Or did y'all just out in the field say, we'll just fix it in the field, let's put a retaining wall up?
It is my understanding that all permits were pulled as required to obtain COs. And it very well, a lot of times we do open up the models under a TCO or a temporary condition of occupancy situation until such time as we get a full CO as we're working
Did we do the inspections on these, or does Pulte self-inspect?
Did y'all use private provider, or did our building official inspect it?
I'll need to confirm with my construction team.
So I'd like to have the person, I would like to know who signed off on this, if it was a private, for them to come forth. Because I am all for tearing down your 4 models and y'all rebuilding them with stem walls. The other ones, it's somebody that lives there, it can't affect them, but it's accountability.
Understood.
And you still got more to build. And if we start letting you ride on this, there's another 3,000 homes coming in. Well, you let doing it for this. You should have probably realized this and talked to Lennar when we had our issue with Lennar years ago. You can't come in and after the fact realize that you have some poor engineering and then go back and design it to fix it. So I think you need to have, before it comes forth, you need to have your person who construction, if it's your project manager or whatever. I would like to know who said build the walls. I would like to see the permitting that you put into the city, and I would like to know who in the city signed off on the permitting.
Understood. I understand the request. We'll
So I
definitely
would
come back with
probably
those
be a little
additional
bit more
answers to those
prepared
questions.
than that for the next time, but I'm all for Huh?
That's why I want to table it.
But I wanted to ask the questions.
Sure, I have a ton.
I'm not sure. Do you want to, do you have any you want to ask? I mean, it's accountability to the builders, because we're going to set precedents for the rest of the builders coming here. And unfortunately, I thought Lenore was the example a while back, but it looks like you're going to be, because you own those houses, you're not affecting the individual. So I just assume you level them and you build them with a stem wall. I would like to know, if you knew they were identified would have to have stem wall, who decided not to build the stem wall? That's a huge miss.
Understood.
And so I think, fortunately you do this, you're going to be more cognizant going forward. The part of, oh, well, we'll try, it won't happen again. Well, obviously it happened in two different places because you built your models, and then down the road, you built it again. So when you caught it the first time, you let it happen in two separate instances on here. So yes, it's accountability.
So
Go
if
forth.
we can, I mean,
Go ahead.
in that case, I would like to make a motion to.
Well, let's
Okay, that's fine.
Don't, hold the thought, but I want
Okay.
Ms. Flynn to voice her concerns or her questions. To come forth.
My one big one is, as you know, in the planning and zoning, I can't say anything. So one of my key questions were, the reason you're asking for this variance is necessary because the stem walls were not constructed with the foundation, and the retaining walls were constructed after the fact to prevent the yard from having substandard drainage capacity. So should we, or should you, have had engineering plans to ensure the walls are built correctly and they wouldn't create erosion issues for the surrounding homes?
Yes, so our engineer can speak to the specific design as it relates to drainage, as it relates to the design of the wall. I do know.
I just assume you hold the thought and him come back in the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll ask our
Yeah,
questions.
let's do that.
Understood.
So, you know, the other thought is, and I would like for somebody to answer it out and have an engineer tell me that, can you go back, since you have the foundation, I think you should theoretically, on a stem wall, you could dig down and put a additional stem wall for those homes that required the stem wall. You go back and you retrofit them with the stem wall by digging out 12 foot in, put the proper supports, pour your concrete, put your stem wall up, and y'all absorb the cost for it. I just assume approve none of it and you go back and build them the right way you're supposed to.
I'll definitely look into the answers to all of these questions that you have and come back with someone from our construction team
And you are,
for the next meeting.
and I just want to know, your name is?
Yeah, Aaron Struckmeyer. I'm with the planning and entitlement side, so I don't deal as much directly with the
And your
construction of the
level
home.
is what?
What?
And your level is what?
I'm a director of planning and entitlement, so I focus more on the upfront. Hadn't received as many questions about the home construction, so I didn't have those members of my team with me this evening, but I will make sure that when we
Yeah, I
come
would
back,
bring your
I'll have-
director or your vice president of building here next time. I would bring
Certainly.
somebody with a little bit more stripes. Nothing personal, but last time I had to deal with a vice president, I would prefer to see a vice president because I seriously, y'all need to fix this, and putting a stem wall in and saying I want a variance is not going to cut it for me. I don't know for the rest of these people, but for me, absolutely not.
Understood.
Mr. Mayor, I think since we do have some occupants in those houses, if we can separate the two, so we can just have their peace of mind, I'm sure they're been concerned about this.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, I'm fine with that, if that's how you want to go, because I lived for, and thank you for bringing me grounded, because I lived for, people in the audience can, for a long time with the threat of my house getting torn down. If you're going to give them the easement for them, if you want to separate them
Yep, I think we
and
should.
approve the variance for them tonight and let them just move
And
on.
let them be, and let
give
them
the
go.
price.
Absolutely.
But then we'll talk about the model home individually. Does that? Would you
We're
feel?
going to table it?
No,
Would-
we can table the first section. What are the ones for the non-model, the ones that are actually occupied?
The ones that are occupied, we're gonna
Yeah, so can you put the map up there of the two groups?
grant the
please?
variance on the 4 that are occupied.
We can't really.
Yeah.
You want to make it subject to it not being able to be post installation of a stem wall?
What?
You want to make it subject to it not being possible to, reasonably possible to do a post stem wall?
I would prefer, but I will defer, I will support whatever. I just assumed them go back and retrofit a stem wall, but I will defer to Councilman Hernandez. If he
Yeah,
feels he just wants to go with it and not cause, it would be a pain for them to have to come back in and construct, and you don't
Correct.
know. And I'm fine with that, if that's how you, I will support that. Knowing that I'll go either way, but if that's what you would like.
So I think we should do it like this. Let's leave that up to the occupants, where if the occupants are fine with it as it is, then they can leave it. If they want to have it retrofitted, then it's their prerogative, and then Pulte will have to go back and retrofit it.
How do you communicate that with the?
That's, we go to legal.
Well, if they're owner occupied, then we should have applications from them so we can contact them directly.
Okay. So, which means what?
So, sorry, just to interject, if that is going to be the condition that is added, I would suggest that maybe we do table it till I can confirm with my construction team that's even a viable alternative, and how impact with, right, while it's being occupied by an owner, that's something that I can't speak to offhand, of the viability, the constructability, and some of those things, and the impacts to the existing owners.
Let me ask you a question, Eric. When these owners purchased the house, were they aware that it was gonna be a stem wall?
So at the time of closing, they walk through. They don't purchase the home. They sign a contract for a reservation. And then when they come back through, purchase the home, they do a walkthrough, and it's.
On the original contract that they signed, whether they read every detail or not, did it say stem wall or not?
It doesn't specify on our contracts to purchase the home.
Okay.
Now they are walked through during various points in the process. I think at some point, they might not have expected it, but then we did walk them through the process as they.
Okay, so, sorry, another question. You mentioned earlier that you have third-party inspectors check it, correct?
So I don't know who did the building inspection for this side. That was, I think, a question posed to Marcus,
you're right.
if it was third-party review or not. I can't speak to that directly.
Yeah, I would like to know if these stem walls for these people here, did they go in after the house?
Correct.
Or before? Was it the same issue where they complained about serious drainage, and so they came back and added stem walls, added these walls because of the excess water?
I know on these homes that those were installed prior to the COs being issued and the owners moving into the units.
Okay. But then on that point in time, then on the original plat that was submitted, there should be a retaining wall on the plat plan that was submitted. So I'd like to see the plat plans for each of these to see if this was let's just throw some stones up here, or did you submit plans? Because I think there's an accountability issue.
Yeah, this sounds like, let's ask for forgiveness, not permission type of deal.
Yeah, I'm like, so the point is somebody on there, so I would like to see on these for the next time, the plat plans for all of these, the original plat plans that the city approved originally, and then I would like to see the final CO that was on the plans to see if these retaining walls are on there, or did they just mysteriously appear in the middle of the night to appease an issue?
Agreed. All right, so I'll make a motion to table all these items for the next meeting. Or sorry, we'll be more specific, items 12? Yes, items 12 through
Doing all of them?
through
Yes,
20
all of them.
to the next meeting. That way we can get further information from the Pulte construction team.
Yeah, and if we can reach out to the applicants to let them know that these are here, because I know when I was going through my issue, even though I had to get an attorney for the city, and the developer did walk through it, I did show up at these. So is this something that the applicants are even aware of? that
You mean
this
the
is-
residents?
The resident, yeah.
Residents, okay.
I can speak to that. We did have to for the lots we don't own, we can't make an application as applicant without getting owner signature. We did go to all of their houses. I've spoken with them, me or
Yeah,
someone else.
I would love to hear them here, to hear the,
I certainly
hear the
understand
story
that.
that was
And there
sent
are
to
signs
you,
posted
that-
on
That was told to,
all the
I would
lots.
love to hear from them what their side of how it was presented to them, from that aspect. And to your point, I would love to hear when you said the residents, and I thought you meant like, oh, everybody else went. This is like, I'd like to really hear how this plays, the owners of the property.
Right,
how
the
it was-
residents
how
that
it
are
was re-
affected.
How was it
Yes.
repaid to them? Like,
Yes.
hey, we just need this, can you quick sign this paperwork? And,
Let's table
you know,
it.
so
Can
we
the
need to do
city-
this.
Yeah, can the city reach out to these residents ourselves?
Yes.
Absolutely. I would also just mention, there's a lot of information being requested, and I'm not sure if 2 weeks is going to be enough time. So I didn't know,
If they want to wait 4 weeks, that's fine too.
just throwing it out there, I wasn't sure how much time everyone needed.
So back to the motion, I will second Councilman Hernandez's motion to table
All of them.
all of them,
All of them.
12
you.
through, items 12 through 20.
Do you want to bring it back in 2 weeks on the 17th? Is that-
No, bring it back.
I would prefer-
The 1st of March,
Yes.
or first meeting in March.
First meeting in March.
Thank you.
I got a motion, a second.
That's March
All in
3rd.
second on tabling till the March. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. See you in 4 weeks. Have a nice night. Final public comment. Anybody in the audience want to speak on this?
Dave Yeager, 2750 Purple Meadow Court. And Mayor, you were right. 3 days before the open house, they had plenty of rain, and that used to be our clubhouse until they built another house. But the water was incredible at the models. And actually,
I was right. Am
it
I
was
not?
flowing into the pool. That's how much water. And then we've had issues. They had to regrade my lot because of the drainage. The water wouldn't go anywhere. And then the neighbor across the street, it was draining into his house. So there is some issues there. But, you know, you think they had the issues there and we're done. But obviously, they keep perpetuating it. So thank you.
Anyone else? With that said, Mark?
I have nothing further for you tonight. Thank you.
Kind of hard act to follow, sorry. I had flashbacks from 20 years ago.
I warned him that could be a possibility
Did you?
of it being torn down.
Okay. So,
Nothing for the city manager, thank you.
Nothing for the city manager.
Mark, like I said earlier, to confirm, those 2 dates are, let me pull up my calendar here really quick.
what are the 2 dates for?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So, suspense, yeah, thank you.
Suspense.
But those dates are confirmed, we're good, before I explain what we're doing?
They are, staff met with them yesterday, and we're working on whether to do, in person, of course, but to try to add an online element at the same time or do a separate online.
Okay.
So that's what they're working through now.
So what we're referring to is for Trailhead Park, we are going to be having community meetings or workshops, if you will, with SCG Fields in order for them to present their designs based on input from Inspire, so that we can get community feedback. They're going to come back then the 3rd week or 4th week of February to present final design so that we can move forward with it.
Okay.
So it's just a way of transparency to get the community more involved in the final layout of Trailhead Park.
okay.
Workshop?
Yes, it is going to be an official workshop.
Is it an official workshop for all of council or an official workshop for you and, right, I can go either way, I just need to.
Yeah, I think it's an official for council. Again, considering this
For all.
is the largest
What date is
investment.
those? What are those dates?
The opposite dates of February. So next weekend, well, I'll give you the exact
So
dates.
the
Next
10th
Tuesday
and
and
the
the- then, yeah.
24th?
So it'll be February 10th and the 24th.
Look, all Tuesdays and, so basically just plan on being here all Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday you're
Yeah,
here.
we
Yeah.
just came from here.
Okay.
There might be an issue for me on the 24th.
But you'll have.
I will
input,
confirm.
But there's
I will
two
be here
meetings.
on the 10th.
So you have input
Yes.
in one, so if you have to miss another, it's just when you miss both, it's kind of,
Yes, no,
at least you have the input to one.
but I will try and make necessary changes.
That'll be it.
Joe, anything for the city manager?
No.
Okay, city attorney,
I have no reports, thank you.
thank you. Thank you for showing up tonight with your sparkly shoes. Bam, you're up. Anything for the city attorney?
No, thank you.
Thank you for being with us Planning and zoning, you were incredible. Thank you.
All good, thank you.
You good for the city attorney?
Nope, so just to confirm, workshop 6:30 on the 10th and the 24th of February.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's going in my calendar. Thank you.
I don't want to sound like a late night TV host, but I want to do some thank yous because when you sit in the audience, you don't realize the work that goes into these meetings. And so for Brad that runs everything, planner Eric who puts all together these shows, and Joyce, putting everything together for us to review, just some thank yous. So thank you.
Eric, anything?
Yes, I did get a message from one of the residents, and I'm not sure how we can handle this because it's regarding the trails, as I'm sure we all got the same message, where we are seeing e-bikes in the trails. I know that this is a county-managed item. Can we get with the county to see what options we have to prohibit those type of motor or e-bikes, non-motorized?
Sure, we did receive a sample from Winter Garden, that same person, and, the attorneys are gonna look into that. Of course, enforcement's gonna be challenging. We'll have to work with the sheriff's office on how that would be accomplished, but.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think Winter Garden owns the trails in that piece. That makes it.
Easier for them, but
Yes.
harder for us, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, we could reach out to the county and see if they're maybe working on something that's more broader for all of the county. I'm sure we're not the only municipality who's brought it up, so.
There is.
There's a bill going.
Oh, that's right, the bill, yeah.
Yes.
They said there's a bill going through your house. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Can we also see how our sister, how Claremont's, if we're getting the traffic, I'm sure Claremont's getting it too.
Yes, they are getting it
Can
as
we-
well.
Are they doing anything?
I think they are, but yeah, I think if we could reach out to them, or
We
I could reach
discussed it a
out.
couple of years ago. I don't remember what the outcome was, but we'll check into it.
Okay. Joe, anything?
No.
Okay. I had stuff, but I forgot.
Oh, no.
Kind of got overwhelmed at the end and the passion took over. But thank you, Debbie. It was nothing, just wanted to communicate. Instead of tabling it, I think I just needed to.
You need to
kind of-
get your point across.
I just needed to set expectations,
Right.
instead of tabling, come back.
It's events, we get it.
Like I said, I brought all my notes. I was ready.
But I've been on the other side, and thank you for keeping me grounded. We do have to remember there's occupied, but there are some that are not occupied. So luckily, they're individual, and it's not, we can do what we want to with it.
Yeah, I just had so many questions.
You can let Pulte know that I'm available to meet with them anytime they would like before the next time if they want to discuss
do.
this.
Will do.
They probably don't want to, though, but I'm fine.
Just saying.
Because I would love to have a meeting with them and the residents, just like the Lennar one that we did. That one went
Well, I
really
think-
well.
And I think that was my biggest concern, was the residents that are occupying those homes right now need to most definitely be aware.
I think that the residents, when we met with Lennar and their executives, Mark and I met with them, and that was a very positive outcome for the residents there, because I think they benefited greatly off of the mistake that the developer made. So, with that said, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?